everybody, and welcome to episode number 9. We are continuing to roll on past Thanksgiving. This is episode number 9 of Empire State Hoops. I'm Adam Rothschild. That's Matthew Vargo. And today's episode of Empire State Hoops has been powered by Sport Pros USA. For more information, visit sportprosusa.com or call 877-HOOPS-NJ to make your dream court a reality today. So for those listening, hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. And Matt, you had a happy Thanksgiving with your Philadelphia Eagles, of course, winning over the Buffalo Bills yesterday. But this one's about the Knicks, so we'll get right into it as we had a lot of games going on during this Thanksgiving week. The Knicks did have 3 days off, though, between several games. But we will start by recapping several of the games. But first, the Knicks are 9-7.
Mm-hmm.
It's early in the season, starting to get through the first quarter of the year.
Yep.
Where are they at right now, and what do we think they need to do to get better, or what is something they're already doing that's really good?
Well, one thing I will say is that since they ran back the more or less the same roster from last year, this is kind of about what I expected. Right now they're 7th seed. That's play-in team. They'd play the Nets. They're better than the Nets. They should win. But I feel like the big thing is that, again, they're just missing consistency is the one name of the game. They're missing consistency, and again, they're just missing that guy that they need to just push them over the top of some of these other teams. I mean, if you look at it, they're only 2 games out of the 2 seed without that guy. So if they're able to get it, then they can soar upwards from there. But as of right now, they're about what I expected.
Yeah, and I think the expectations for what we've seen so far is what has happened, especially playing with a tough 10-game stretch that they had early on in November, going through that to start the season. And it's starting to pick up with some gritty wins, and they always say it's gritty because it's hard to win against a lot of these teams.
Yep.
So, for example, we'll start off with the game against the Atlanta Hawks. This was about a week and a half ago when the Knicks pulled out a 114 victory over the Hawks, and they've beaten them twice now on Atlanta's court, and they don't have to worry about playing there again this year because they got 2 more games against the Hawks at the Garden later this year.
Yep. Now, the thing is, from the Hawks game, they were up 11 after the first quarter, and then, again, the inconsistency happened. They then lost the second quarter by 10, and then they had a 1-point lead going into half, and then they just kind of went back and forth from there. Julius Randle, good job, buddy. He played pretty well. 29 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. He had a steal, only 1 turnover. Like, hey, could you imagine that? Brunson came along for the ride. RJ didn't play in this game, so the fact that they were able to do it without RJ, that's pretty good. Was quickly 20 points off the bench. It's like, good job, guys. And Trae Young held him to 4 of 12 shooting and only 15 points. Now, he did have 17 assists, which is like, holy moly. But you'll take that when his shot's not falling. So, overall, good job. They did what they had to do. Good job, guys.
Yeah, we'll take this any day, especially for this grand tour that Julius Randle is going on, the ups and downs of a season with number 30, per usual. Anyways, the other games that they had on this stretch, there were 2 just blowout victories. The Washington Wizards, who we've gone all in on and saying these crazy things about this team, who's, the worst team in the Eastern Conference right now.
They've got a contender they're contending with another team for that spot, and we'll talk about them later.
Yep, we will get to that team as well. And they also had a blowout victory over the Charlotte Hornets, who they do play on Tuesday night for the in-season tournament group play. But another game that we have to get to was the Minnesota game. Mm-hmm. You have a double-digit lead against a team with a star in Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, and you blow it, and you lose by double digits. It just doesn't make sense to me, but it was just lack of effort and stuff like that.
Well, I just kind of feel like, they hung in despite the big lead, they were only up by, I believe, 2 at halftime of that one. And then the third quarter just happened, and you can't be more disastrous in the third quarter than they were. They lost the third quarter 35-19. Randle, he was okay shooting the ball, 6 of 16. But again, nobody particularly in the starting lineup shot well. Quickly had 15 points, but it came on really bad efficiency. And you said to Anthony Edwards, this guy, I don't believe he has made an all-star team yet. Give this man his flowers. He's been balling. They're number 1 in the West, which is shocking. Is it going to last? Probably not, but still. Love me some Anthony Edwards. Karl Anthony Towns, he didn't shoot the ball much, but he still had 20 points. But I don't know. That was a good that could have been a good statement game. Like, you go into their building and you beat the number 1 seed in the Western Conference as of right now. They just didn't get it done. It sucks, but I don't know. You would have liked to see them make a statement.
Yeah, and Minnesota is a team, they haven't been this good in a long time. The last time they were a top team in the Western Conference was back in 2004 during Kevin Garnett's MVP season when they went to the conference finals and lost to the Lakers, and they beat Sacramento in the semifinals that year.
Yep.
So it's just stuff like that. Like, nobody expected where Minnesota is right now with this young core that they have going through a rebuilding process, still trying to be a good team in the Western Conference. But those were those games. And then you get post-Thanksgiving. It's a Friday night at the Garden, the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat. The Knicks looking for revenge against the team that knocked them out of the playoffs in 6 games last year in a hard-fought series against the Miami Heat.
Yep.
And you're down 21 points in the third. There was some guy, I forget his name, on the sidelines. He was yelling at Jalen Brunson saying, "This is embarrassing. Do better. Do something better." And he does just that. 24 points. Emmanuel Quickly, 20 points off the bench. And somehow, in some way, they come back and beat the Heat.
Should I also mention Stephen A. was there, and then he left, and then they won the game?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's just so Steve. That just summarizes Stephen A. right there. It's when he's not there, they're good. When he's there, they stink. But anyway, that second half, you couldn't be more Jekyll and Hyde than they were in that second half, because I believe the Heat won the third quarter by well over 15 points. And then the fourth, the Heat only scored 11 points. They entered the fourth, I believe, with 87 points. They didn't even crack 100. They scored 11, and the Knicks scored 29 in the fourth. And maybe that was what Brunson needed to get going, because, 10 of 16 for 24 points. I mean, Randall, again, he had a greatest hits shooting line, 5 of 12. Still shoots way too many threes for my liking, but for these two teams that don't like each other whatsoever, from last year's playoffs to the 90s with Pat Riley, yes, I know Knicks fans are still angry at Pat. Are you still angry at Pat Riley?
I don't talk about him. I don't need to talk about him because Pat Riley ruined us. He left us. That's all he did. And he's like, "Oh, I'll go rebuild some players in the South in Miami." He's like, "I'll do that." Okay. Yeah, I'm fine. I don't need Pat Riley right now. I don't.
Yeah, he resigned via a fax machine. Now, but again, they were able to win. That's good, especially because I believe the Heat are right up above them in the standings, so they would hold tiebreakers later on down the road by winning the season series. But overall, just you did it for our man Stephen A. That's all that matters in the end.
And here's my question for Stephen A. Smith, who I actually have met in person. I met him at Bookends in Ridgewood, New Jersey.
Nice.
And here's what I have to ask you. Do you regret leaving the game now? I want to hear you say that on First Take. Let's hear what you have to say.
I hope he does, but Stephen A. is just going to be like, "What did you expect me? My New York Knicks were getting shellacked." He's going to say something like that.
Oh, yeah, that is Stephen A. Smith in a pure nutshell right there. And from here, we will be taking a quick break, and we will be right back to continue discussing this game and what the comparison was to this game, as well as the game on Sunday against the Phoenix Suns. This is Empire State Hoops with Adam Rothschild and Matthew Vargo, and we will be back in just a moment.
Hey there, basketball fans. Are you ready to take your love for the game to a whole new level? Well, listen up. We've got something that will make your hoop dreams come true. Introducing Sport Pros USA, the ultimate destination for all your backyard sport court needs. Whether you're a diehard Knicks fan or just looking for some slam dunk fun with your family, Sport Pros USA has got you covered. Picture this. It's a sunny afternoon in New York, and you step out onto your very own custom-built backyard basketball court. The court where legends are born and memories are made. A court where you can unleash your inner baller and shoot hoops like your favorite Knicks players. But it's not just about basketball. It's about family, friends, and fun. Whether you're hosting a game of horse with your buddies or teaching your kids how to dribble and shoot, Sport Pros USA brings the magic of the game right to your doorstep. Our courts are more than just a place to play. They're a place to connect, bond, and create unforgettable moments. And with Sport Pros USA, you can have it all, right in your own backyard. We're not just building courts, we're building dreams. Dreams of buzzer beaters, comebacks, and endless laughter. So why wait? Give us a call at 877-HOOPS-NJ or visit sportprosusa.com today to start designing your very own backyard basketball court. Remember, at Sport Pros USA, we believe that every home deserves a court, and every family deserves the joy of playing together. So don't just watch the game, be a part of it.
And we are back here on episode number 9 of Empire State Hoops. This is once again Adam Rothschild and Matthew Vargo hosting here today. And now we're going to get to this comparison. We talked about how the Knicks beat the Heat on Friday night, day after Thanksgiving at the Garden. Then you're rolling to Sunday, playing the good old Phoenix Suns.
Yep.
You have no Bradley Beal and no Kevin Durant.
No.
Devin Booker comes in here, hits the game winner over Julius Randle. Brunson was inches from a game-tying 3. So close, and it just didn't go down.
Yeah. And the thing is with the Booker shot, you will have him take that shot 100 times out of 100. He is dribbling to his right. I believe it's Brunson and Randall are like glued to him. He just kind of fades to the side. And he just drains it. Like when a guy hits a shot like that, you just gotta have to tip your cap. Like you can't play any better defense than that. He just made a tough shot. But overall, again, with no KD and no Beal, you would like to see him win this game because that's 2 of the big 3 for them not playing. And that big 3 hasn't played a whole lot anyway, but you just would like to see him win that game. Especially look who Book was out there with. Eric Gordon. Yes, Eric Gordon, like I know he's had 25 points, and look at the rest of the starters. Yusuf Nurkic, 4 for 9, 8 points. Josh Okogie, a donut. He made no field goals. He made 3 free throws. Like, come on. You got to be able to win that game.
The scary thing, though, about this Suns team, even with their 2 stars out, their depth is huge. Even we've talked about this, them trying to build their bench, and they've tried for so many years to do it, especially talking about last year when that was the problem why they couldn't beat Denver last year because of their bench, and it was so weak. You had Chris Paul hurt. Devin Booker wasn't playing well. Kevin Durant wasn't playing well either because the Nuggets' defense was so good. But that's the thing you got to point out in this game. Denver's depth is what beat the Knicks in this game. That's what stopped them.
Yeah, kudos to the Suns front office for finding a way to get a lot of good role players. Like, no stars by any means, but good role players on the cheap. Again, Eric Gordon typically comes off the bench if this team is fully healthy. They got him on the minimum, and he was great for the Rockets. He was good, very good for the Clippers last year. Drew Eubanks, solid backup center, power forward. Yuta Watanabe, typically on make around north of $150 million, something like that. And they still were able to get a good team together, and they're tied for the Thunder with the Thunder for second in the West. So, again, it could have been another benchmark win, but just didn't fall their way.
Yeah, this was a game the Knicks had in their grasp, but just couldn't do it on the comeback because it was just so close. They had so many opportunities. It was free throw shooting that couldn't help either. Mitchell Robinson going 0 for 2 in the fourth quarter in the last few moments, but it was just stuff like that just held them back. But now getting into this with the standings, we mentioned this earlier, asking where the Knicks are with 9-7, number 7 in the East right now, tied with Miami, like we said before, getting close with them. But looking at other surprising teams in the standings, I want to bring this up now because you said this early on that the Orlando Magic were going to be a good team. They're on a 7-game win streak right now, man.
Yep. It warms my heart to see. Everyone was like, no, the Magic, they're like a year or 2 away. Like, come on now. I was like, no. Again, are they second seed in the East good? I don't know. The season's still very young, but this team, like this 7-in-a-row stretch includes a victory over the Pacers, who are, again, they're number 5 in the East right now. The Nuggets, defending champion Nuggets, came to Orlando. They beat them by 5. And the Celtics, number 1 in the East, the Boston Celtics, went to Orlando and got bulldozed. 113-96. And again, they just have a lot of really good players. Banchero, Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, Joe Ingles, my Aussie man, Joe Ingles, all those days at the Jazz. They got a good team, and they're definitely the big surprise in the East right now.
You also can't forget Cole Anthony, son of former New York Knick Greg Anthony as well.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about him, yeah.
He's also a good player on this young roster. This is kind of like the Baltimore Orioles of the NBA right here. Because, like, you had the Orioles who were terrible last year, and they were great this year. And it's the same thing with Orlando, but we're going to find out if that continues, though. But now to get to these next few games, the Knicks do play the Hornets tomorrow night, but we've talked about the Hornets a lot. But that's an in-season tournament game, which they should win, hopefully.
We've talked about, they've gotten more attention than they deserve with the way we've talked about them. They stink, just plain as day.
And LaMelo Ball also recently just went down with an injury as well, so he most likely will not be playing in this game tomorrow night against the Hornets. But the next game will be on Thursday at the Garden against the worst team in the Eastern Conference. The 2-win Detroit Pistons with Cade Cunningham and their head coach, Monty Williams, who was the coach with the Phoenix Suns last year.
Yep.
And he's going through a tough stretch right now.
Yeah, this Pistons team, I mean, I like Monty Williams as a coach, and they got pieces, but I kind of feel like, you want to know what this team reminds me of? The Rockets last year. The Rockets had, like, all these young guys, but they don't have, like, that veteran voice to kind of guide them, and their young guys really haven't taken the step a lot of people envisioned. And again, they're on a 13-game losing streak right now as they play the Knicks. Could you imagine just the embarrassment that would be the case if the Pistons snap their big losing streak against the Knicks? Like, they come to the Garden, I believe, to the Garden, right?
Yes.
And beat the Knicks. That is inexcusable right there. And I don't think it's going to happen. You got to find a way to beat these guys, continue the losing streak. I mean, like, at the time we're recording this, they're playing the Wizards tomorrow. It's the tank off, the race to be the biggest loser. So, if anything, keep the streak going, Knicks. Make them keep the streak going.
It's a national embarrassment if the Knicks lose this game to Detroit. And I guarantee you that they will win it. They will find a way to blow this team out. You just can't keep it close. That's going to be the thing when you go against a team like the worst team in the Eastern Conference, the Detroit Pistons.
They better blow them out.
That's all we're going to hope for. But the final game we will preview to close out the episode, this one will be over the weekend, I believe, on the road in Canada, in Ontario, at the Toronto Raptors, who we actually talked about before we recorded, and you were saying something about, the trade deadline. There are two key pieces who are OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam, them possibly being off the team at the trade deadline.
I think it's near definitive that the Raptors are going to trade both of them at the deadline. And it's actually a back-to-back. They go to Canada, and then they come to the Garden after. Well, it's not technically a back-to-back. It's like they go there, then they're off for like 10 days, and then they play the Raptors at MSG. But, yeah, I just feel like this is another team that they need to beat. The Raptors, they're 8-9, 11th in the East, and it's just kind of a case when I see that team, they're just like, well, they had their fun, they won their ring with Kawhi, but stalwarts have left. They need to just blow this team up, enter a rebuild, and kind of pick up the pieces from there. So the Knicks, again, you got to beat this team.
Yeah, this is going to be a road game because Toronto is still a tough environment to play in.
Oh, yeah.
Even with this young team, with so many young pieces that they've drafted in the past, and them still building. But I think the biggest loss for them was Fred VanVleet. He was a huge loss. And you see what he's doing on the Rockets right now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that was the thing that was kind of alarming. I remember when the Rockets signed him to that deal, everyone was just I think his annual average salary was higher than his effective field goal percentage at the time. If I remember correctly, it was like $40 million to like $39 million, like 39% shooting. I could be wrong about that, but it was something like that. But yeah, when you lose like a veteran voice like that, a guy who was on that championship team in 2019, it's kind of hard to recover from that. And that's why they're reeling. The Knicks, 7-3 in their last 10. Just got to go in there, take their lunch money, and get back across the border.
Yep, hopefully that lunch money is free. And another thing also about VanVleet, he's getting paid more than Jalen Brunson right now.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like shocking to me because the Knicks got a steal in Jalen Brunson as this journey for the Knicks this season has continued with momentum, ups and downs. It's a journey that's continuing now that we're through the first quarter of the season coming into December. So the New York Knicks will be taking on the Charlotte Hornets in the in-season tournament on Tuesday night. That game will be on MSG Networks. And this episode of Empire State Hoops has been powered by Sport Pros USA. For more information, visit sportprosusa.com or call 877-HOOPS-NJ to make your dream court a reality today. So, this has been episode 9 of Empire State Hoops. I am your host, Adam Rothschild, and alongside me, that's Matthew Vargo, and we will see you in the next one.
Peace.